All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the 2013 Klaczynski Open. We are about to start round 3 here. Last round we had an awesome match between Alex Brasso and Dustin Zimmerman. Alex was able to win that match. It was pretty cool. He did win on time against Dustin's Darkrai Garbodor deck. It was a very, very close matchup. Alex just barely able to edge him out. And now we should have another good one. Both players are 2-0 here. It's going to be James Coss, player from the Indiana area, going up against Michael Pramawat, our very own Michael Pramawat, of course. Everyone should know who Pram is by now. He's a Worlds finalist. He's qualified for Worlds several times. One of the game's best players, and we're happy to be able to feature one of our own guys here on camera for you all. So it should be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a plasma mirror matchup, which Pram said in the past he did like that mirror match a lot. He felt there was a lot of skill in it, and then he played it a little more, and he didn't feel that way anymore. Feels like it's a lot of luck now. And now we're going to see if Pram can take this best 2 out of 3 series against James, who is a very solid player. He does very well at all sorts of tournaments. I mean, he doesn't have much of a track record in terms of high-level accomplishments, but always a guy who's a threat to do well at these events. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the game. I think they're setting up right now. Oh, no. The camera's gone. All right, bear with me here. Someone must have tripped over the cable. Let's try this again. All right, there we go. Camera's still a little bit off. I might go try to fix that. We'll see. And the program is going crazy on me. All right, technical difficulties are a nightmare. We're going to get this all sorted out, though. Don't you guys worry. All right. There we go. So we're going to have James against Pram. I'm very excited to see this matchup. Plasma mirror match as well is always going to be an exciting one. Man, I should probably go fix that camera. But I don't really want to run over there and leave you guys hanging. We can still see the game, I guess. It's not the worst camera angle in the world. So I guess we can kind of bear with it. Next round, I apologize. I'll have that fixed for you guys. But for now, we're going to have to deal with this. This is a best of 3, like every Swiss round has been, 75 minutes. I don't know what else to say. It's caused some good matches so far. The first round was kind of a blowout for us. We had Dustin with the Garbodor. Just kind of ran over Colin Peterick, who had no Tool Scrapper in his Blastoise deck. And then we had Alex Brasso barely beat Dustin Zimmerman somehow with an epic scramble switch play in the first game, and then the second game he ended up winning on time. We don't know if he actually would have won that full series, or if he would have won that third game fully. But it doesn't matter. Time ran out. He was winning. That's all that matters. Alex is 2-0. Dustin drops down to 1-1. And now we have a battle between 2-0 players, James Coss and Michael Pramawat. Oh. Uh-oh. We have some repairs. So we may have to repair this game. We might have to get a different game. I don't know. But this gives me time to adjust the camera. So be right back. They're going to repair. Hang tight, everybody. All right. Should be a little better. I think. I hope. All righty. So we're going to have Pram against James Coss. The round's going to take a little bit to start because it is a repair. Not much we can do about that. These are just normal tournament procedures. Sometimes the pairings get a little messed up. So they have to repair. Maybe there was a result reported incorrectly or something like that. That happens quite frequently at these tournaments. So everyone's going to have to sit here until they get it all sorted out, and then we'll start with round number 3 here. I apologize if there's problems with the microphone. There's not much I can do about it. I'm not really sure what's causing it. Yeah, I really don't know what that's all about. I think my computer might be overheating. Time to invest in some new computer. Or time to invest in a new computer for the Top Cut. This one's life is running. It's running short. It's on its last legs. This computer's gone through a lot of tournaments. I don't know if it can handle it anymore. The times are changing. But hopefully the internet stays good. Looks like I haven't even dropped any frames since I started streaming, so that's good. The internet is not disconnected yet, so the restart happened to fix that at least. Hopefully we don't have any more issues. All right, so we're just getting back from lunch. Our head judge, Heidi Craig, came all the way from Florida to judge this event. Big shout out to her. And all right, we're going to start here. Round number 3 of the Klaczynski Open. Looks like a double thunderous start. Oh man, we got Attack of the Glare in this round. But both Thunderous EX. It's the active Pokemon for both players. It's a plasma mirror match. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of the same cards for both players. We'll see if there's any interesting text that can separate these two decks. But for the most part, it's going to be the same deck, same thing. And, you know, Pram is going first, so I'm going to say he has the advantage here. Whoever goes first in a mirror match normally does have the advantage. Of course, there are a lot of things that can happen along the way that switch that. Oh, my goodness, James's hand is terrible. All right, we'll see what happens, though. Does Pram get anything else on board? He may have a Deoxys in hand, and he's thinking about whether or not to bench it. Managing bench size is a pretty big deal in the mirror match. Of course, they have Absol. And nope, looks like no bench Pokemon there, and we're just going to see a right knuckle for 30. Whew. And James, you don't have a supporter. All right, right knuckle back and forth. Well, this is why best 2 out of 3 for Swiss rounds is awesome. Maybe one bad game here, but it's still a full series that can be played out. So one bad hand does not determine your match. You have to win 2 games to win the round, as opposed to a single game Swiss round that we're normally accustomed to. So even though it looks bad for James right now, first of all, this game is not over by any means. Second of all, he'll have 2 more chances to win, if he does end up losing. Which, if he doesn't top deck soon, he certainly may end up losing. But right now, Pram's got a Skyla. He's going to be searching for a trainer. We'll see what he ends up taking. If he doesn't have a supporter, he'll probably take a Professor Juniper. If he does have another supporter, probably take something like an Ultra Ball or a Team Plasma Ball. Get a Kyurem and start powering that up. The Plasma Mirror Match heavily focused around Kyurem. That Plasma Kyurem does 30 and 32 bench Pokemon with Frost Spear, and then the big attack Blizzard Burn does 120 damage for 3 energy. Now when you combine that with Deoxys EX's ability Power Connect, which adds 10 damage to each of your Team Plasma Pokemon's attacks, then all of a sudden you're starting to do 130, 140 damage. And then you can play something like a Hypnotoxic Laser with a Burbank City Gym in play, and now you're doing 170 damage. Or maybe even a Silver Bangle, a card that just came out that does more damage to EX Pokemon. Which, that's pretty good too. Alright, so we're going to see a Water Energy go onto that Kyurem, and then another Raid Knuckle for 30. And alright, we got a Team Plasma Ball for James. Now that's actually going to be big. He does have some decent cards in his hand, just no supporter. So he can Team Plasma Ball here for that Kyurem, get that into play. And I believe he has a Colress Machine as well. So what he can do this turn is play the Colress Machine, get a Plasma Energy onto the Kyurem, and then attach to the Kyurem. And he may have the first Kyurem powered up which is a pretty big deal. Kyurem is the card that does the most damage in the Plasma deck. It just is the heaviest hitter, but it's very energy intensive, takes 3 energy, 2 water, and a colorless, so it takes 2 turns to power up at the very least. You can accelerate it with Colress Machine or with Raiden Knuckle, but at any rate, it does take 2 turns to power up. So we're going to see an energy and a Colress Machine here from James, and we'll probably see another Raiden Knuckle, but it's really whoever Kyurem survives ends up being the victor in these kinds of Plasma Mirror matches. There are some things that could throw each other off. You know, I don't know if either player plays Silver Mirror. That could be big in the Mirror match, ironically. You know, get a Silver Mirror on a Kyurem, boy. Then your Kyurem is protected from all your opponent's Plasma Pokemon, who knows. I don't know if anybody plays that in this matchup, but it will be interesting to see. Alright, so James returns the favor with another Raiden Knuckle. And both these guys have had pretty much the same start. Looks exactly the same, just Pram has played 2 supporters, I think, whereas James has played none. And we'll see if this card advantage ends up being big for Pram, as we do see a Skyla. Maybe he can pull something off here. Now, if he were able to go Colress Machine, Energy, and then Catcher, could Catcher out James Kyurem, get a Blizzard Burn on it, and he could take out the Kyurem and take a big lead in this game. I don't know what other options he has. I don't know what he has in his hand. But if he could do that, that would be an extremely strong play this turn. I think that's what he would want to go for. You can't really leave a Kyurem unchecked in any matchup, really. If that thing gets to attack in consecutive turns, it is dishing out tons of damage. And you just can't afford to have that thing do so much over the course of a few turns. When Kyurem comes up with 3 energy, you need to deal with that thing immediately, whether that's by knocking it out or by using cards like Enhanced Hammer. I don't think either player plays Enhanced Hammer, so they really need to knock out Kyurem. Or you just need to get lucky and hope your opponent cannot put it to the bench, because when you use Blizzard Burn, you cannot attack on the following turn. Looks like Pram just took a Catcher. And then, I'm not sure what he's decided to do. He just took a Catcher. And he's just going to Raiden Knuckle for another 30. So now there's 90 on that Thunderous EX. Interesting choice taking the Catcher. I'm not sure what he's trying to plan for here. I don't know if he had... I guess he's trying to plan for the knockout on the Kyurem on the following turn. Does James have a 3rd energy? No, another Raiden Knuckle. Wow. So these 2 Plasma decks are known for being speedy decks. They are known for putting on pressure early. And both players so far have done Raiden Knuckle 3 times. Wow. Alright. So we are going to see Pram finally take the initiative here. It looks like, unfortunately for him, his only supporter is an N in his hand. So, yeah, he's going to actually have to give James a new hand here. And this is going to be a big draw off his N for 6. If Pram can get a Blend or a Prism Energy, retreat to his Kyurem, and then Blizzard Burn for 130, take out James's Kyurem, he'll be at a big advantage. But let's say he does not draw the Blend or the Prism. Then what does he do? Well, now there's a Kyurem active, waiting to hunt him down, and he would be in a ton of trouble. But there is Pram with the Blend Energy, so it looks like he's just going to go ahead and retreat and Blizzard Burn, take the first knockout here, and get rid of 2 energy. So the tempo advantage is definitely going to Pram here. He is striking first, but that doesn't always mean everything. James still has a ton of resources left in his deck. So anything can happen from here on out. It'll be interesting to see if James plays Hypnotoxic Laser. That's another card that'll be huge in this matchup. I know Pram does. Talked about it with him. We both agree that Laser is huge, too huge not to play in this deck. But a lot of Plasma players have shifted towards Silver Bangle instead, because it's so strong against EXs, and then you can save some space by not having to play those Verbank City gyms. I Actually unsure if James plays the lasers, but I would say Pram has a big advantage if James does not play those hypnotoxic lasers. So now we're seeing a chorus from James. Benched 2 Curums and then a Deoxys EX. He's going to draw 5 from this chorus. Oh, he has a dowsing machine in his hand. We usually don't see that A-spec card in the Plasma deck. Normally we see either Computer Search, or some people like to play Scramble Switch as well. But James, he is playing Dowsing Machine. We'll see how that plays out in this deck. You know, that can allow him to get back a card like another Catcher, another Chorus Machine, all sorts of stuff. And looks like we have a Chorus Machine going on to Deoxys here. So he thought about powering up 2 Curums, and he says, your Deoxys already has a Plasma Energy on it. I should get mine ready as well. And we're probably just going to see another Raid Knuckle. And we'll have to see if Pram can actually attack on this following turn. He did use Blizzard Burn, so he won't be able to use it again unless he has a Switch or a Floatstone and a Keldeo. And, I think Pram only took 30 for that Raid Knuckle. He should definitely take 40. I hope they notice that, otherwise I'm going to have to run over there and do something about it. Or I'll have to flag somebody down, I don't know. I think that's a 3 on the Curum. Should be 40 damage. Oh well, we'll see. Now Pram is going to go for a Catcher on this new Curum with a Prism Energy. James actually spread out 2 Prism Energy onto Curum. And, you know, Pram could kind of look at this and say, there's 3 Prism Energy in play. Deoxys now becomes a viable attacker for me. Because, well, if I attack with Deoxys, the main thing that responds to Deoxys is another Deoxys, which needs a Prism Energy. So, if your opponent runs out of Prism Energy, they can't use their Deoxys to respond to yours, and all of a sudden you have a very good attacker with a very little risk. Alright, now Pram puts down a Keldeo this turn. If he can get a Floatstone or a Switch, he can rush in, retreat, and then Blizzard Burn once again. If not, this is going to be kind of a wasted turn for him. He won't be able to rush in, get the Curum to the bench, force James to have a Catcher. But this is still a huge missed opportunity where he could have used a Blizzard Burn this turn. Alright, so Pram's going to attach a Plasma to his other Curum. Will he rush in or just leave the Curum active? This will be an interesting choice. If he rushes in with Keldeo, looks like he's just going to pass with his Curum active. And oh, the Curum for James stays asleep. That is brutal. We'll see if that ends up mattering. Alright, I think I'm going to try to flag down the judge and see if that 30 can get switched to a 40. It's tough. I'm in the corner by myself. I'm isolated from everybody else. It's tough commentating alone, guys. We'll see. Alright, well, until I can do that, I don't think any important math is going to happen anytime soon. Looks like James is going to consider a Dowsing Machine. Will he pull the trigger on it, though? He may need to for a supporter this turn. Looks like yes. And he's going to Dowsing for the Chorus Machine. So, I wonder what he's going to go for. He's got a Chorus as well. If he can get a Switch. That Chorus is going to be a big, big card this turn. He's going to get 8 cards. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to get a Switch. Maybe Keldeo and Floatstone if he has it. So we're going to have, yep, there is a Switch. Right. Jason. Alright, so we'll be able to Blizzard Burn this turn.
What's up? What's
The Pram stable, it should be 40 on the Curum, not 30. Alright, got Jason on the job. He's going to switch the damage. I don't know what happened. Looks like they're pausing the game. I don't know why. 1 second, guys. They put 30 damage on a Kyurem. It should be 40.
Is there a plasma connect with the deoxys?
Yeah.
Something? How long ago did this happen?
Like a turn ago. Didn't impact the game at all. Alright, sorry guys. We're getting it all sorted out. It just should be 40 damage on the Kyurem, not 30. I really don't think this will make any difference in the game at all, but best to get it right if we can see it. And we can actually do something about it. I almost just didn't want to say anything because I really think that math hardly ever matters. Alright, so Pram realizes it. Alright, it's going to 40. We're good now, I think. Like I said, this is almost irrelevant math. I can't think of any situation where having 40 instead of 30 will actually make a difference. Maybe with some Raid Knuckle and a laser. So you never know. It's good to get that thing right. Alright. So now we're good. And the Kyurem just dies instantly. Alright, way to go. Way to go, Kyle. Just held up the game for 2 minutes, and then it just got knocked out immediately. That was a waste of time. Oh well. Glad that we got it right. Alright, so now James has kind of neutralized the advantage that Pram had. He's the one with 3 energy in play on his Kyurem. What's Pram going to do from here? Now, he's got some options. Actually, he doesn't have many options. His one big option here is to get a Prism Energy. And there it is. And he's going to need a Hypnotoxic Laser this turn. Then he can do 120 with the Helix Force. And then the Hypnotoxic Laser, the poison damage, will finish off the Kyurem. And then once again, James will be reset. Kind of back to where Pram is. Just 1 energy on a Kyurem. But honestly, I like James's position better than Pram's. His energy is more spread out. He has more in play. He has more potential to pull some things off here. I wonder who's at the advantage here. The Plasma Mirror match is a very fragile back and forth kind of thing where one missed turn can really be the difference in your games. We're going to see a computer search from Pram, and I assume that's going to be for a laser. You know, he's not even going to hide it. He's just going to search right for it. Throw it on the table. Wants his opponent to know. Look, this is what I grabbed. That Kyurem's going down. And he's going to go ahead and do an irrelevant flip for the laser. And I think we're just going to see a Helix Force. And the Kyurem will go down in between turns. Get it later. Alright, so now it'll be up to James to, kind of respond to this. Now, he has gone through quite a few Prism Energy already, so that could be a problem for him. If he can't get one this turn, how does he respond to this Deoxys? He might just kind of a Raid Knuckle and then get more energy in play. Because that Deoxys really doesn't do much from there. Deoxys is going to like max out at 60 damage against the Thunderous. And, you know, Pram might just have to actually retreat the Deoxys. This is the awkward spot you get in with Deoxys EX. Sometimes, you know, you get a big knockout with it, and then your opponent just doesn't have enough energy in play for you to really capitalize. But then Plasma can explode with like a Chorus Machine and another energy, and then all of a sudden their 1 energy Kyurem turns into a 3 energy Kyurem, and it's a knockout, and that stuff happens all the time. We do see a Silver Bangle on James's Kyurem on the bench. That is a big card. Adds 30 damage to attacks against Pokemon EX. We'll see if it comes into play here. Now, James has burned through a lot of resources. That is his main problem here. his energy is spread out. It would be good if this were like the beginning of the game where he didn't play many Chorus machines, didn't use many plasma energy. But the reality of the situation is, oh, he got a bicycle. The reality of the situation, he is just low on prism energy, he's low on plasma energy, he's just low on almost everything. And again, I don't think he plays laser. So he may be in some trouble this game. It's a long way to go, though. Both players do have 90 damage on the Thunderous EX. Unfortunate part for James is his is active. So we're going to see a Raid Knuckle for 40 here. And if Pram can hit a laser this turn, he can knock out this active Thunderous EX. Go down to 2 prizes, and then all of a sudden he's looking to be in great shape to win this game. We do have a Tool Scrapper, getting rid of that Silver Bangle. And a Prism goes on the Curum. What is Pram going to do this turn? I think no matter what, he wants to save the energy. There we go. He's going to laser. Going to go ahead and flip for the laser. It's not a relevant flip because there's already 90 on the Thunderous EX. He can Helix Force for 60, then plus 30 for the Verbank and the laser. And Pram doesn't seem to have much of a hand, but he has taken 2 more prizes. He's taken a 3-prize lead now. And he's got the Curum on the bench. 2 energy on it already. Can James find a way to come back here? It's going to be a long road ahead for him, especially considering how many resources he's gone through already. Now, Pram, he just might not have anything in his hand. There are clear prizes for James to take on the board. The first one's going to be this active Deoxys EX. That should be the obvious one. He's going to play a Chorus machine. Looks like there is a plasma energy left. So he can go ahead and put that on the Curum and just Blizzard Burn this turn. And then he can also attach to something else. Maybe Absol, but again, he might be out of Prism energy to even use Absol. And oh, here's another N. He's going to shuffle in and draw 5. Pram will get 2 off of his N. So we could see if Pram does miss a turn or 2 of cards he needs, this can easily swing back around, like I said earlier. If Curum goes unchecked and gets to Blizzard Burn 2-3 turns in a row, that changes the game completely around. That's going to be knockout after knockout, and that's just brutal to deal with. And James is going to get 5 off of this N. Looks like he does play Keldeo as well. And he's considering playing it down. Doesn't look like he's going to. He's also got another Silver Bangle in his hand. Could attach that this turn. He may hold on to it, though. And he will just take the Blizzard Burn knockout on the Deoxys EX. Pram immediately promotes his Curum. He's got the blend in hand. He could go ahead and Blizzard Burn, knock out this Curum, go down to 1 prize, and then pretty much eliminate all the energy off of James' board. But he does have a Prism in hand. He could go up with the Deoxys, and it looks like he will. And if Pram doesn't have a Float Stone or a Switch, some way to get Curum to the bench and then back active again, he cannot Blizzard Burn again. And maybe he can just get knocked out in 2 hits by this Deoxys EX. And then Pram just won't have anything left in play. This could be very problematic for him. And James could certainly come back here. Now, if Pram could top deck a supporter or something to get out of this situation, he'll be fine. He's definitely got the opportunity. He's definitely in the advantage right now based on the board. But this could definitely turn around if he does not have any cards to work with from here on out. Oh, looks like James went for... He's going to put an energy on the Thunderous EX. Oh, I'm not sure what he's doing here. He's going for the Keldeo EX. He may have been better off just leaving the Curum active and hitting it with Raid Knuckle here. And then he's going to go ahead and look through Pram's discard pile. He may be trying to like stick the Keldeo up and then maybe later catch out the Curum. I'm not particularly keen of this move because what can happen is that Curum is at full HP now. So when it comes up again, I don't know if there's anything he has that knocks it on 1 hit. I guess Absol could if a 3rd Deoxys goes on James's bench. Or perhaps if Pram benches another Pokemon, he's got to be weary of that now. Cannot bench any more Pokemon here, otherwise he's pretty much dead to Absol. But yeah, I feel like it might have been better just to hit the Kyurem for 40, and then, or 50 even, and then set up either Absol or Deoxys. Then finish off the Kyurem next turn. You have the catcher in hand already, so you can actually target down the Kyurem next turn. I think I would have liked it a little better. But Pram, he does not seem to have many options, so he just could see a predicament where he just has to draw past the turn because he doesn't have anything, and that's exactly what happened here. And if this is the situation, James is in great shape. But what is he going to do after he actually knocks out this Keldeo? That Kyurem is just waiting to get in there. And if Pram just is sitting on a Pokemon catcher in his hand, and he's just waiting for the Keldeo to go down, basically once it gets knocked out, oh, and Pram puts down another Deoxys, and uh-oh, he's going to catcher out the Absol. Does he have a supporter here? He does. He looks like he top-decked the Chorus, classic Pram, and he's going to Chorus here for 9 cards now. Benching that Deoxys is extremely risky if he misses the Floatstone or the switch here. Then he gives James an opportunity to Mind Jack that Kyurem that has the 3 energy on it. So this is going to be a big draw here. And all right, there's the Floatstone, and Michael Pramawat's going to take game number 1 here in round number 3 of the Klaczynski Open. So that was a very fast-paced game. Pram went first. He had the tempo advantage for pretty much all the game. And, you know, never faltered. Hit that big chorus at the end. James kind of ran out of resources. And, yeah, that was that, honestly. Now, James will be able to go first in this game. Maybe we'll have a bit of a better start this time. Who knows? So you can see just kind of how fast-paced this matchup really is. And you can see Pram understands it pretty well. James understands it pretty well as well. That catcher on the Keldeo really did make a difference in the end. Pram would have, you know, like top-decked out of it no matter what. Yeah, this is just hard hitting. Fast mirror match. It can slow down at some point because you can just kind of run out of resources and everything can kind of come to a standstill after end late in the game. I feel like Plasma is one of the decks that is kind of vulnerable to end, even though it only runs basic Pokemon. It relies a lot on cards like Pokemon Catcher, Hypnotoxic Laser, Chorus Machine to get those last prizes. And a lot of the time, if you're just stuck with what's on board with Plasma, you don't really have a way to win the game. So we can see a lot of these games come down to late ends, disrupting the opponent, and whoever draws out of it first wins. Or we can just see sometimes someone just runs over the other person, gets a fast Kyurem, the other guy gets a slower start, Kyurem just keeps plowing through with Blizzard Burn. That can happen as well. A lot of different things can happen. It feels like Plasma Mirror is one of the most unpredictable mirror matches where just about anything can happen. And it looks like James is going to go first here. Is that a Deoxys start? Looks like Pram is going to mulligan. So I'm sure James is going to be happy to see that. He'll get an extra card here. There's the 1 card for the mulligan. Didn't quite catch what it was. Looks like a Kyurem. That's actually a big card. Now he can pull off some tricks turn 1. He's starting with a Deoxys, but he'll have a Kyurem, a Chorus Machine, and a water in hand. And he's got some bicycles. So maybe he can pull off a turn 1 Frost Spear, which is very deadly in every matchup. Turn 1 Frost Spear might be the most intimidating start in the game right now, you know, outside of like a turn 1 Night Spear. And a second mulligan for Michael. He's going to shuffle in again and draw a new hand of 7. James has got to be loving this. Every card he gets off those mulligans is just 1 step closer to him getting a nice explosive turn 1. And you know, it's so threatening to go turn 1 Frost Spear, 30, 32 bench Pokemon, sometimes more with Deoxys. You can go 40, 50, 60, turn 1 Frost Spear, and the 32 bench Pokemon. Turn 2, you're already threatening that Blizzard Burn for 120, possibly more. So turn 2, you can always be threatening an EX knockout after a turn 1 Frost Spear. It is so devastating for most decks to stare down. And a lot of decks can't even respond to it properly. And all right, we're going to go here with game number 2, James versus Michael Pramawat. And let's see what happens in this one. So that Kyurem is going to come down with a second Deoxys EX. Got the water energy on the Kyurem and a Chorus Machine. This is that start where you just look at it and you're like, ugh. That Kyurem is going to hit pretty hard. And we'll get the Plasma Energy. I assume that goes on Kyurem this turn. But does he have a way to switch Deoxys to the bench? That is the question mark we have for this turn. Doesn't look like James actually had any supporters. He just had a couple of bicycles, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and get the Chorus Machine Plasma Energy onto the Kyurem. And now we'll see what else happens this turn. So those bicycles, it's an item card, so you can play as many as you want during your turn, but it's drawn until you have 4 cards in your hand. If you don't, if your hand is too big to play them, they're kind of worthless. And you run into this situation a lot. Bicycle for 1. Now, James did draw an Ultra Ball off of that, so he could discard his hand down to 1. He also has a Chorus, I guess. That's not a good supporter. It'd only draw him 2 cards. He's going to Ultra Ball away his basically other 3 cards. And then grab a Pokemon and then Bicycle for 4, and he can still play a supporter for the turn. Not bad. And if he can get a Float Stone or a Switch here, it would be awesome. Turn 1 Frost Spear, put on a ton of pressure, 50 damage turn 1 to that Deoxys. Pram's going to be in a lot of trouble if this happens. Now we're sitting here with a Bicycle. Is he going to ride this Bicycle to a Float Stone? Got a Kyurem and a Juniper. So we'll see if the Juniper can get us a Float Stone. And he is seeing a lot of cards this turn. Are any of the ones he actually wants? There is a Chorus Machine. I don't think so, actually. I think he's going to miss the turn 1 Frost Spear. And this might be a little breathing room for Pram, but this is still so scary to stare down. 3 energy for your opponent, turn 1. Ouch. And you're still starting with the Deoxys. You need an equally strong start here. You need to maybe get some damage, maybe get some energy on board with a Thunderous, Raid and Knuckle. We'll have to see what Pram can respond with here. Gets a Float Stone on the Deoxys, so unlike James, he can actually move the Deoxys to the bench this turn. Oh, and a Chorus for 4. Well, I bet Pram's happy that at least James benched some Pokemon for him. He can draw 4 off of this. But this could be a very quick game for poor Pram here. If he doesn't get another basic, and then James just get a Blend or a Prism, and then a way to retreat the Deoxys, the writing's on the wall. That's Silver Bangle on Kyurem. We're going to see a Blizzard Burn for the game. So does Pram get anything here? Tool Scrapper, alright, that might buy him a turn. And a pass. Still, we could see a quick game too. This is not very good. We got a Prism going on to Deoxys EX. And a Chorus Machine. Strange that he's doing this. Guess he's going to Helix Force this turn for 60 damage. He must not have the cards to move Deoxys to the bench. So if you're not going to move him to the bench, why not just go ahead and attack for 60. Force some action from Pram here. I don't think James has a supporter either. So alright, we got a Helix Force for 60 damage. Can Pram respond? Ooh, this could be a huge opening for Pram, actually. He's going to Juniper. And if he hits a Chorus Machine off of this, and is that the last card? Nope, that's a Kyurem. No, it looks like this is not going to be Pram's game. So misses the Chorus Machine off of the Juniper. And he's going to promote the Thunderous EX. And pass. And it looks like James is going to take a big advantage in this game. Gets the 3rd energy onto Kyurem. 2 water and a Plasma Energy. It's interesting to note that he actually does run quite a few basic energy in his deck. A lot of plasma decks, like the one we saw from Alex Brosseau earlier, run only special energy. Just Prism, Plasma, Blend. Those are the only ones they run. But with that kind of an energy lineup, you are very vulnerable to Enhanced Hammer, discarding your special energy. So to combat that, looks like James has added a lot of basic energy to his deck, some water energy, some lightning energy, so that they can't be removed by Enhanced Hammer. He actually runs a lot of water energy. I see at least 3 in his deck. Now I do know he is friends with Dustin Zimmerman, so he may be tired of those Enhanced Hammers and just started filling his deck with basic energy. He's like, alright Dustin, I'm not losing to your stupid Garbodor Sableye stuff anymore. I'm playing basic energy from here on out. So he had an interesting decision here. He wanted to Catcher the Kyurem, and then Catchered out Pram's Deoxys, and then retreated his Deoxys. And now he Blizzard Burns the Kyurem, takes a prize here, but he's kind of left himself in a very precarious position. What can happen here now is he had so many energy in play. He had 6 in play this previous turn. He retreated 2 away, puts up the Kyurem, and now Pram can just get a Hypnotoxic Laser and then a Plasma Energy, get Helix Force, and then all of a sudden, James is just left with 1 energy in play. Not a good energy either, it's a Plasma Energy. So his huge board with 6 energy is now going to turn into, well, all I have is a Kyurem with a Plasma. Can't do much with that. So what's Pram going to go for here? He's got a computer search. He can search for anything. I'm assuming this is going to be for a Hypnotoxic Laser. You got to wonder why James didn't just, if he's going to catch or something, go for the Deoxys, wipe out the energy that Pram had in play, and then, you know, he could have Helix Forced it, I think. Wow, it's a monster turn from Pram there. Laser, Juniper, Floatstone. This game is going to swing around here. I got to say, I don't like what James did last turn, but maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about. Alright, so now Pram is actually going to be able to take a big advantage this turn, I would say. Knocking out this Kyurem. That Deoxys does have 60 damage on it, though, so it might be a target later on in the game. There's a lot of things that can wear it down with maybe 2 attacks, like a Frost Spear, Raiden Knuckle. Especially when you have Silver Bangle, those Frost Spears become devastating. Right now, if he had a Silver Bangle on the Kyurem, it'd actually do 80 damage to an EX and 30 to a bench Pokemon. That's almost as good as Night Spear from Darkrai, which takes 3 energy on a EX Pokemon. So that's pretty powerful. And now we're going to have the Helix Force, and we're seeing just how strong Hypnotoxic Laser is being for Pram in these games. James just doesn't have those options to do the Helix Force and the Laser to knock out Pram's Kyurem. Whereas Pram has these options to just go, alright, I need to deal with this Kyurem right now. How can I do this? Alright, we can Helix Force and Laser. So we're going to see a Chorus now from James. He did attach the water to Kyurem this turn. The poor thing about Pram's board is that all of his energy are on that Deoxys. So, I mean, he cannot really do much offensively next turn. The most he's going to do is 90 if he can hit that Kyurem for James, who is going to be looking for a Floatstone or a Switch this turn. And I don't see one. Seems to be a bad theme for James in game number 2 here. He just cannot move his Pokemon out of the active spot when he really wants to. So there's 2 Team Plasma Balls. They just both fail. He's just getting those out of his hand right now in case of an N. And man, what looked like an extremely scary start for James. All those energy on board. So much pressure he was putting on. Now it seems like an even game where Pram may even have the advantage. And it's kind of funny how quickly all this can turn around. That's just the nature of the Plasma Mirror match. Here's a Chorus Machine for Mike. He is going to probably put that on Kyurem. So their option would be on Deoxys, but it looks like he's going to go for Kyurem. And then I would assume he's going to go for a nice rated knuckle this turn. That's going to do 50 damage, set up that Keldeo for a knockout later, and get another energy from the discard pile. Put that on his Kyurem. He's also going to play Hypnotoxic Laser, hope to keep that Keldeo asleep, and there's the heads on the laser flip. And James knows, uh-oh, this can happen. This can stay asleep, and then I won't be able to retreat, even if I get a Float Stone. Does not want to see that happen. And Pram is just burning through his deck here. He has really exploded in these past few turns with some big Junipers after that really slow start. That Chorus for 4. The Mist Chorus Machine turn 2. Now it seems like he's really getting in gear here. And we do see the Lightning Energy come down onto Thunderous EX as well. And that means we're going to have a Raid Knuckle. It's going to do 60 base damage with the Deoxys in play. All 3 of them. And then plus 30 for the poison damage. Alright, so we'll see. Does he have any energy in the discard pile? And he does not. I overlooked that. And did James stay asleep? That just happened. Oh no. Oh no. I hope James plays Switch. He's going to play Skyla here. Alright, he does play Switch. A lot of people have shifted back towards Switch because Gothitelle has rotated out. We don't have to worry about Trainer Lock anymore, so Switch becomes a viable form of getting out of status again. Well, that extra 30 should definitely be on Keldeo. I hope they notice that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send Jason over there again. Alright, we'll see what James does. He's going to go for the Raid Knuckle. He's trying to figure out if there's any other cards he wants to play from his hand this turn. He has a catcher. He's debating maybe playing a catcher on a Deoxys this turn to try to stall for some time. Since there are Float Stones on Pram's field already, there's definitely a shot he could stick one of those things active. But it looks like he's just going to Raid Knuckle the active Thunderous EX for 50 damage, get a water on the other Kyurem. And now we got an army of Kyurems being built up for James. Whereas Pram really does not have too much energy in play. He's got one Kyurem with a Plasma energy on it. Deoxys, 2 energy, and then the Thunderous EX with a Lightning on it. Not quite as threatening. Alright, so we'll see if we can get the situation resolved. Keldeo should have 30 more from poison. Alright, we're going to have the game paused again. Sorry, guys. It's a good thing we're watching, huh? These guys are sloppy. There should be an extra 30 on James's benched Keldeo EX from poison. The die is just sitting out there. He didn't move it with his Keldeo, though.
So James is
Yeah.
Should be 30 damage more.
James, is it?
No, it's Michael.
Okay, Mike.
So James Keldeo should have 30 more from poison. The guy didn't get on top of the Keldeo. I said that right. I'm glad we have it here.
All right, looks like we're going to get this all sorted out. That 30 damage is actually a big deal. That could definitely impact this match. All right, we got it all sorted out. We're all good. Now we can continue. Sorry about those pauses, but it's very important that we actually get these games correct, especially when we get the benefit of watching the games. Might as well make sure there's no mistakes. We don't want to see a game decided on some silly error that both players overlooked. All right, so we do have an N here. Looks like both players are going to shuffle in and draw 5. And this could be a big turn for Pram. If he needs to get another energy on that Kyurem. He needs to get a Blend or a Prism on there. Or I suppose a Water. Something that will allow him to power up for Blizzard Burn on the following turn. Does he have it, though? Does not look like it. We're just going to have a simple Raid Knuckle for 60. And it looks like Pram may be fizzling out here, and he's opening the door for James to kind of overwhelm him. Those Kyurems are getting very scary. If you can ever get 2 Kyurem powered up in a Plasma Mirror match, you almost always have the game just locked up. Blizzard Burn every turn. It's absolutely devastating. So we do see James is actually going to attach a Plasma to his Deoxys. Maybe he's going to finish what he started. Finish off that Deoxys a little later. Do have a Tool Scrapper. He's going to discard the Silver Bangle on the Kyurem. That's obviously the first tool you want to get rid of. He can get rid of a second one, though. And looks like it's going to go after the active Float Stone. Not a bad choice, considering Pram may have to retreat that Thunderous EX at some point. May as well make him, retreat the energy off. If you raid Knuckles again, you're probably feeling pretty good about your position. Only doing 50 more damage. So you do see an N from James. Interesting that he decided to attach the Plasma to the Deoxys before the N. This takes away any option he had to attach another Water to Kyurem this turn and get a Blizzard Burn off. But he is kind of preparing for a Helix Force in the future. Does he have any more energy in the discard pile? If he does, a Raid Knuckle would still be big here. Get some more energy in play. And eventually he just has this unstoppable army of attackers. Yeah. Man, this is very scary for Pram. 2 Kyurems with 2 energy each, a Deoxys with a Plasma energy on it. The Thunderous EX already has the Lightning on it. That's a lot of attackers you have to go through. And what does Pram have to respond? He has a Kyurem with a Plasma energy, a Deoxys that already has 60 on it. It can attack, it can knock some things out, but it's almost certainly going to get knocked out immediately in response. So a few missed energy attachments on the Kyurem is proving to be all the difference so far in this game. Going to see a Chorus here for a nice, let's see, looks like 9 cards. I think Pram has a bench spot open. It's a huge draw card. Chorus is an extremely explosive draw card. A very weak early game, oftentimes nets you 1 or 2 cards in the early game. Late in the game, when the benches start to fill, you start to get 8, 9, even 10 cards sometimes, which is an absurd card advantage to have. You get to see so much of your deck when this happens. And it's just really... Oh, and we just see a catcher here. Does Pram have a laser as well? Alright, guys. This 30 we made them put on. This is going to make a difference here. Now it's going to be a Raid Knuckle knockout. Just going to go ahead and flip for the laser. And James is going to spin that Keldeo in a circle. And we're actually going to have a Raid Knuckle for 60 plus 30 from the Verbeek. There's still no energy in Pram's discard, but he did get one in play onto the Kyurem to prepare for a Blizzard Burn next turn. And he got those crucial 2 prizes. Now James is kind of on a clock to try to do something here. How does he want to respond? He's got a few options. He could just Frost Spear with that silver bangled Kyurem and then maybe just hit Deoxys or something like that. He'll take the knockout on the Thunderous EX. There's enough damage on there already. Looks like that's what he's doing. Another option would be to Catcher the Kyurem if he can pull that off. Catcher Pram's Kyurem, that is really the biggest threat on his board. If he can take that out of play, he'll take away most of Pram's firepower. And he should just be able to Blizzard Burn the rest of the way. Really kind of uncontested, besides some little damage from Thunderous, and then maybe an attack from Deoxys. So what can James do here? He does not seem to have... I don't see any supporters or anything. Doesn't look like he has any water either. Looks like he may Frost Spear, which is still a strong move, but he's going to leave that Kyurem potentially able to Blizzard Burn on the following turn. And there we go. There's going to be the Frost Spear. This game's going to be tied up at 3-3. And it looks like he put 30 on the Deoxys EX. So what is Pram's plan of attack here? It doesn't really look like... it's going to be tough for him to really get his last 3 prizes before James can get his. It really looks like it's going to take Pram 3 attacks to win this game, whereas James will only really need 2. So is there any way that Pram can force James to attack 3 times to win? Or he'll have to somehow find a way to win in 2 attacks. And maybe he found a way to do it. He's got this Absol. If he can power that up, the bench is full for James. If he can pull off a big Mind Jack, that is doing more damage than I can count. We got a Chorus Machine. That's going to go on to Absol. So he could just get a Mind Jack this turn. That's going to do 130 total. There's 3 Deoxys in play. Actually, that does 150. I can't even add, but it does a lot of damage. Full bench, so it'll do 20 plus 100, plus the 30 from Pram's 3 Deoxys EX. And wow, that's a huge attack. Mind Jack for 150 damage, and maybe this is what Pram needed to kind of close this game out. He's going to take the prize lead here. Can James respond? It seems like that was just a devastating blow to him there. Now what does he do? If he knocks out the Absol, Pram has a Kyurem waiting for him. He just needs 1 more energy. And he can Blizzard Burn, take out James' Kyurem. And what is James left with? Not a whole lot. It's just a Thunderous with an energy and a Deoxys with a Plasma. If he doesn't get the knockout this turn, man, he might lose next turn. And even if he does knock out Absol this turn, there is a threat for Pram to take a knockout on an EX and win next turn. The Thunderous EX on the bench is 60 damage already, so a Blizzard Burn would easily knock that out. Even if he could do something like a Max Potion, just a Catcher and a Laser would be a simple knockout on an EX as well. That's just how strong Kyurem is, and you can't let your opponent have so many Kyurems. And it looks like James is going to Catcher out that Deoxys. This is actually a very smart move for a couple reasons. The first one is he's going to obviously take 2 prizes. Second one is it really lessens the blow of Absol's Mind Jack to the point where Pram might not be able to get a knockout next turn. Now there's only going to be 2 Deoxys in play, 4 bench Pokemon, so Mind Jack will only do 120 damage. So now it's 10 short of knocking out that Kyurem. So Pram is going to be forced to have another energy to get the knockout on the Kyurem. And it looks like James is actually just going to retreat to his Deoxys and Helix Force for the knockout. He's got 3 Float Stones on board now. And does Pram have the Catcher to win? That's what he's going to need here. He's going to promote his Kyurem. He's got the energy, and there's the Hypnotoxic Laser. That's going to be it. And Michael Pramawat's going to move to 3-0 here at the Klaczynski Open. Pretty impressive game. He just kind of got the right stuff at the right time. James faltered near the end of that game. Made a few questionable choices, but at the end of the day, Pram's going to take this one home. And we got Plasma decks doing really well at this tournament. Plasma has shown itself to be a very powerful deck still after the rotation. So that's going to wrap up round 3 here from the Klaczynski Open. We have 4 more rounds to go. I believe there are 7 rounds of Swiss here. It's the best 2 out of 3. Then we're going to cut to a top 8. So hope you guys join us for round number 4. I am Pooka here from the Top Cut, and we'll see you guys for round 4.